Hi everyone, this is Diane. I am ready to show you these two journals. They're mermaid themed journals and they are magical. In fact, I named this one Magical and I named this one Enchanted. They will have their own listing. They are very, very similar. They did use a different digital kit in each one, and I'll talk about them. And I was going to show you journal paper, the scrapbook paper that I used, but I don't know where it is. But it was from the Paper Studio. I think it's called Mermaid Dreams. So anyway, I want you to stay tuned after I do this flip through, because I'm also going to show you two mermaid supply kits that I have prepared to sell to you. So let's look at Magical. I used a blue satin quilted fabric for both of them, and some of these Indian fabrics that I have for my boho journals, and a little piece of seashell cotton fabric, and this beautiful embroidered ribbon on the 2-inch spine, and some more collaged Indian fabrics, and this piece of ribbon, it's not really ribbon, it's a trim, and it just reminds me of a piece of coral. I zigzag stitched all around the edges, so there will be fraying. You can cut those little pieces off or just let it fray, but it won't go beyond the stitching. I made a little tassel for the spine. It's on this clip, so it comes right off, and it's just got some sari silk and lace and ribbon and some fibers and some string, and on the strings I tied a couple of, if I can find them, there's two of these mermaid tails, and this charm actually has some sand and tiny seashells in it. Yeah, the other mermaid tail is up there. I am sending some scraps that you can use for collaging. So scraps of the Paper Studio papers, some vellum and tracing paper that I had colored, and just other types of scrappy papers that you can use to collage and make more embellishments for your journal. There is fabric on the inside with this scallop, like a scale pattern, and I added this tag label for you to write your name. Added this pretty trim on the inside. So this looks like, yes, this is the journal kit, digital kit that is no longer available for purchase. This shop went out of business. So the other one, I will tell you what that one is, because that one is still available. But this has some beautiful mermaid images. I did put some pretty sheer fabrics, ruffled them up and put them on the edges of the first page of each signature. There are 3 signatures. They measure, they're both the same, 6.5 by 8 3/4. The spine is 2 inches. And this lined paper with the mermaid images also came with this kit, and I used it on the other kit also. But that's the one that's not available. I have these grid papers that are dyed, and I got them on Etsy. I don't know if you can see the blue lines, but it's a grid paper. And I have some embossed papers, and I put some of my glitter kiss from, it's a Sky Blue Kiss. What's the name of the company? Cosmic Shimmer Glitter Kiss. Creative Expressions, and I got that on Amazon. So that's what I rubbed on top of that embossed piece of cardstock, and there was a little crack in the embossed piece, so I just put down a piece of tracing paper that I had sprayed with colors. I cut this seashell out of a seashell book. This is part of the other kit that is still available. It's Home Book and Treasure is the name of the Etsy shop, and I will link this kit. This bubble paper came with the Paper Studio paper, and I also use Mrs. Cog's mermaid images. She has 2 sets now, but I only have the first set that she has. And this is edged with the gold. This is not a kiss. This one, Cosmic Shimmer, is glitter kiss, but this is a gilding polish, metallic gilding polish in gold, and they're both from Creative Expressions. So I just put that around the edge here. And there's a little bit of this metallic, or not metallic, but it's got a trim there and a trim here. And this is actually a pocket made from this wide trim. It's in the trim section, the ribbon and trim section at Hobby Lobby. So that's what that pocket is made out of. I did make some tags on my Tag Tuesday. I'm thinking this is going to be in the shop on Wednesday, so I think you just saw these tags yesterday on yesterday's video. So there's more detail on those tags in that video. I did some stenciling here. That's a piece of a napkin. You'll see the rest of it on the other side. And some more of the dyed paper from the Etsy store. I'll try to remember to link that Etsy store. I know sometimes I'm terrible about linking things that I say I'm going to, and you guys remind me, and I try to get them linked after you remind me, and I'm so sorry about that. But I have the Mrs. Cog's link and the other mermaid kit to link, and I can try to link the shop where I got the dyed papers, and I will try to link these for Amazon. And this is my new Tim Holtz stamp. It comes in a big set, and that's one of the quotes, collect beautiful moments. And I just did some collaging with some of my scraps. This was a journal page, a blank journal page that I got years ago on vacation, and it's got a mermaid and a fish. And I took a seashell book page and just clip this on here, so you could glue something, paper on the back, so you can write on it. You could glue pictures there. You could cut the seashells out and use them elsewhere in the book. I did 1 fabric flip in each signature. This is that paper that I used it as a trim right here. I like that watery looking paper. And I did another video where I showed how to ink with stamp a page with ink and water. So that's on Monday's video. And this is a stamp on colored paper. I colored that paper. And a little scrap, I just put a journaling card in there. This is tracing paper that I sprayed. These pockets, I think they came with this kit. I'm not sure now. That's a cut-off piece from the Paper Studio paper. I put this pretty fancy trim on the edge there. Got that trim at Hobby Lobby. It says, "The sea is calling and I must go." And this paper from the Hobby Lobby kit says, "Mermaid hair, don't care." There's another stamped mermaid on that colored paper that I did. And here I did just a little collage of some of the colored papers that are used throughout the book. Stapled it on with copper staples. Covered up the staples here with washi tape, and there's a seashell from one of those books. Stamped seashell. This came from a children's book, a big children's book that I got at the flea market last year, and there was all kinds of interactive things in it, and I used some of the elements in these journals. So this page had 4 of these shells that you could open up and read about, so each journal got 2 of the shells, and this is about it's a myths. Are these things that people believe about mermaids true or not? A mermaid's feet hurt if she stays on land too long, and this says it's true, and you can read more about that there. Here's the other side with the napkin on there. It was a very large mermaid image on this napkin, but I did leave you some room to write. There's lots of writing room in this journal. I cut out the little phrase, mermaid hair, don't care, to embellish this pocket. Added a strip of black to kind of make this edge of the pocket stand out from the back. Here's another section from that children's book, and it has different water, bodies of water, and how they relate to mermaids. And this was another tag that I made in my Tag Tuesday. No, I don't know if I made this on Tag Tuesday or not, but anyway, that's a tag. And it has one of the Mrs. Coggs images. And that's the end of the first signature. I've got some of that glitter kiss right there. Here's the second signature with that crinkly, iridescent, papery, fabric-y stuff. I don't even know what it is. Collage here. And a seashell. I used some of that Indian fabric here. And this tag is on my Tag Tuesday video. I used a stamp here and some more of the stamping with ink and water. Be you, the world will adjust. There's a sand dollar stamp there. This is from a book, and it's an Arthur Rackham image of a mermaid, and I think this is on one of the Mrs. Coggs cards. She's diving down in the water. I added a tab there. And here I just added a label that I had stamped onto some cardstock that I had colored. I don't even remember how I colored that, but I thought it was a pretty color, and I stamped that on there. And this is a fabric that came from an Indian sari, and these are real bits of metal. I could not cut them. I had to kind of cut in between the stitches, and they were stitched very close together, so it wasn't an easy thing to cut apart, but I wanted to use it, and I just glued it to the top. It just looks fluid, and I thought it went well. I guess it kind of reminds me of scales, and that's why I wanted to use it. And there's another mermaid. Tracing paper that's sprayed. And I just put this envelope in the center here with, it's embossed on the flap. And inside the envelopes, I just cut pieces that you can, from scraps of the scrapbook paper that you can write on. You can put something on there, an image that you like. I like this sheer taffeta type of, not taffeta, organza type of ruffle. And another Mrs. Coggs image. This is the other side of the Arthur Rackham illustration. It has the mermaid diving on this side, and on this side the mermaid has legs. This is from the Home Book and Treasure journal kit. This is from the children's book. It's about full-length glasses, the mirrors. And then this is from a book that, sorry, it's just an image of a mermaid. It looks like a medieval painting almost. And I just added some of the strips of tracing paper there. And on the last signature, I have a couple pieces of sari silk or sari dress fabric. And I had this very shiny and textured piece of green cardstock. This is on my Tag Tuesday video also. Blessed are the curious. This is from a book about quilts, and this was a mermaid quilt that you could make. You could color her in and have room for writing here. And the back, I just collaged on it, and it's a old piece from a children's music book that says the Mermaid's Song. There's a piece of gold fringe up here and some seashell fabric and this sheer piece of a sheer curtain. There's some napkin collage there. And in this envelope is another scrap. This one is a Stampin' Up! Paper that I had left over from last year. This is an advertisement from a vintage magazine. Remember the Chicken of the Sea tuna? Look for the mermaid on the label, it says. And I put some of that gold around that paper too. It's the other part of that mermaid quilt. And another seashell that opens up. Mermaids are obsessed with their appearance, and that says false. It's humans who are obsessed with mermaid beauty. Just another cut-off piece and another tag. And on the back there's a fabric pocket with these little sequins sewn to the fabric. And this was a cut-off piece, from a few years ago, from I don't even know where I got this, but it has a mermaid on it. And it has my signature there. So this one is called Magical. The second one is called Enchanted. And this one on the tassel has two of the mermaid tails again, and then this dangle. It's pretty blue. Looks like the ocean. And on this we have the same sheer fabric here, and then some other fabrics. This pretty medallion and this little bit with the beads on it, sequins. One of the pages in this book are from that kit, because there were 10 pages in that one and 8 pages in this one. And I needed 9 pages in each, so I just took the 10th and put it here, and then they both had 9. But I think this one is from Home Book and Treasure. These line pages, however, are not, so those are not available. So it's basically the same. They have different images. Different napkins collaged on. This is from a children's magazine, and it just has a mermaid there, and I collaged on, this was like a table of contents, so I collaged on this. That's a stamped and embossed seashell that I cut out. Here's a page, a little thing from that book about shells, because she's holding a shell in her hand, and it talks about mermaids collecting shells and things that they do with them. It just looks like a woven basket. This is one that I stamped and then colored with my Arteza water brush pens. There's a stamped background that I don't know if you can see it very well. You'll see it in person, but it's very subtle, and it had lines of demarcation where it's a big square stamp, but there were lines there in between where I moved the stamp. So I covered those up with these pieces. This came from the children's book, and it talked about mirrors. Mermaids can enchant their mirrors for a short time by singing simple charms. It's surrounded by seashells. And here's the other side of that magazine image. And I collaged here, and there's place for you to write. This one says, mermaids delight in singing sailors to a watery death. Fault. Mermaids sing for pleasure. It's not their fault that sailors can't resist the sound of their voices. If a mermaid spies a ship while she is singing, she will stop immediately. There's a cut-off piece in there, and this pretty tag with a jeweled piece. Another one that I colored with the Arteza markers, or paint brushes. Water brush, I don't know what they're called. It's paint, it's filled with paint. This looks like it's beaded, but it is a seashell cut from a seashell book. This is a photograph of a mermaid. You know, it's a lady, but she is dressed like a mermaid. It's got some beading, a beaded piece wrapped around there. Yeah, there's the image from the Mrs. Cog set of the mermaid diving down. This says live, love, dream, and there's a little piece of tulle glued there. The charmed comb. When drawn through a mermaid's wet hair, the charmed comb turns droplets of water into jewels. Any human who tries to do the same with it will find nothing but barnacles and crab claws raining down around her. Never heard of that. There's a cut-off piece in here again. A little hard to get the pieces out because the envelopes, the top of the back of the envelope goes up, way up to where the fold is, so there's really no space for you to grab a hold. You can get them out. There's the photograph again. It was kind of dark, so I added some elements to brighten it up. There's another piece here. It says mermaids are telepathic. False, but they do possess the special ability to read the ocean around them. Dolphins and whales also possess this special ability, which humans call sonar or echolocation. I love that little piece. I just had a small piece of that trim left. Or maybe it was just a strip and I cut it off. But look how beautiful it looks with all of these elements in that pretty image. This collage I put at the top, and since that was kind of a big piece, I left it open so I could tuck this in. It talks about brooks and swamps. Mermaids avoid swamps, but they delight to play in brooks. Full of wonder. And here is the quilt. You saw the pages of the pattern page, I guess, of the quilt, and there's the finished quilt. And another piece from the book about islands and bays and lakes. This is just colored tissue paper up there, tracing paper. This one has a Mrs. Cog image in it. And on the back of this book page, I glued this piece that came out of a book. It's an advertisement for Carolina line for San Francisco, sailing regularly on advertised days. It's a clipper ship, Neptune's favorite. So I just glued that there as a pocket and then tucked in a cutoff piece for journaling and another page for cutting apart or for gluing something onto. This came out of a book, and I didn't cover the back because it's part of the story of The Little Mermaid. This is Mermaid Childcare. And in the back pocket of this one is a card you can write on the back. It has my signature, but it's a piece from that children's book about mermaid sightings in history. So those are the two journals that are in my shop, and now if you stuck with me through them, you can see the journal kits, or the supply kits that I have. They will each come with a rubber stamp. So this one is called, this kit is going to be called Mermaid, and the other kit is going to be called Seahorse. They will share a listing, so you can choose the title. Let me just quickly show you what else is in the kit. So this is used, and I got it at Hobby Lobby on clearance. Each kit has a piece of this ruffled sea green trim. It has part of the mermaid napkin, and I stamped my 3 mermaid images out, and you can color them whatever you want to do with them. 2 pages of a seashell book. You can cut them out and do something with them. I cut the remaining piece of this in half and shared it with both of you. This is the cover of that magazine that I used the inside page in one of the journals. Some fabric pieces. I have little scraps of the shell fabric and the scales, and this piece was a pretty good sized piece, at least half a yard, and I ripped it in half, and I didn't use any of it, but you get half of what I had, so it's a quarter of a yard or even more of that. It's a scale design, but it's I didn't use those colors much, so I didn't use that piece. I used this one a lot. And some batiks in blue. They just look watery to me, so they're just some small pieces. So you get some fabrics, and you get some more pieces from that children's book that you can use. It's just a piece of a 5x7 scrapbook paper. This is a piece, I was going to cut this out and use it in the book, but I just ran out of spaces to put it. But it's about crowns, mermaids' crowns. And some of the pages from the book, you can cut them apart or fold them. They're kind of heavy. This is the Labyrinthine Reef. Help the mermaid find her way through the maze. So you only have half of it because the other half was on the other side. And this one has flaps. Butterfly Garden. Hall of Mirrors. The Salon. Is that it? Oh, there's one here. The Playroom. That's where the little children are. They're white on the back because these pages were back to back like that because they are interactive. And then this one is a really fun one. And I wanted to use this in the books, but I didn't. But look at this. How fun would that be to cut that out and glue it to a page? And this page is a mermaid and some of the sea creatures that she's friends with. And then some of the scrapbook papers from Hobby Lobby. I had to fold them so that they would fit in the envelope. But there's the holographic mermaid print. Got two of these greens. These actually did not come from Hobby Lobby, but they came with a different set. But these other ones all came from that Mermaid Dream set. I love this one with the shells, and I don't think I used that in either of the journals. The bubbles, the coral, and a couple that look, this looks like water reflections. They're both pretty. Mermaid Hair Don't Care, and then scales. That is the mermaid set. There are differences and similarities in both sets. So let's look at the other one. Okay, this one, I didn't fold these pages yet, but this one has the seashell stamp, which isn't used. I bought it on clearance and then realized that I already had this one. So this is an unused stamp that I'm including in this set. Again, the mermaids that I stamped, just let you do something with. This came out of a book, just a lady by the seashore. So that's not really a mermaid piece, but it's a seashore piece. It's more of that trim. And you will find pieces from that children's book in here. Some pieces of the mermaid napkin. Some seashell pages. Rivers and reefs. The world of mermaids. Tending shellfish beds. A piece of vellum. This is just a portion of a page that has a story, not a story, but some facts about mermaids. From the waist up, mermaids have the face and body of a young woman. From the waist down, they have a marvelous tail. The Coral Palace. Oh, this is the interactive one with the flaps. The Treasury, the Amphitheater, the Relic Room. So this would be like Ariel's place where she stores all of the stuff she collects from shipwrecks and things. Library of Legends. This one is a really fun one. You could cut around that and make it smaller and then glue it down into a book, and it has different flaps so you can change out the mermaid. It's really fun. This one has accessories of a mermaid, hairstyles, jewelry, and pouches for carrying shells, mirrors, combs, maps, and other enchanted objects. Useful as well as beautiful. So these must be materials that their little purses can be made out of. And this one, I wonder, yeah, this goes with her. And then again, we have that piece and then all the fabrics and the papers. There might be a slight difference in the papers that you get. You have 2 shell pages here, and the large scale scales. I don't think the other one had that. So, yep. 2 fun journal supply kits that you can use for making mermaid journals. And this one has the Seahorse. So don't forget also, Magical and Enchanted are also in the shop at the same time as these journal kits. So there's lots of mermaidy fun to go and find in my shop. The shop is linked below this video. And I will see you in the next video to see what my next project will be. I don't even know yet. And I hope you're having a creative day today. Bye-bye.